Everybody, it is Christmas Day, and I got to tell you, I've never been happier. This is 2024. We are going to talk about all overall Santa Clarita Valley, what's happening. Then we're going to get into Saugus specific for the real estate update for today. Yesterday was the Stevenson Ranch update, and then tomorrow, of course, will be Newhall. But Merry Christmas to everybody, and may your new year be fantastic. Looking at that 7-day snapshot, getting into that past 7 days, all of Santa Clarita, 52nd week, 360th day of 2024, and it is, of course, a leap year. We have 12 coming soon listings hitting the market. If you want to see those, you actually have to have those emailed to you via the Board of Realtors. I'll send those to you. Just go to santaclaritaopenhouses.com/coming soon. 20 new listings, 18 properties have had their prices changed. 13 properties have gone back onto the market during this last week. That's got to be stressful for those sellers out there that thought they had their property sold and now they don't. God bless you guys. Work on it. I'm sure it'll work out. Probably not a seller and home issue. A lot of times when these things cancel, it's a buyer issue. Not just they changed their mind, but in a lot of cases they went out and opened up a credit card or maybe paid something off and didn't get the lender's proper vetting. If you're going to pay anything off, even within the lending process or in escrow, even though for all intents and purposes that makes complete sense to try to improve your FICO score, maybe get a better rate, you need to bless that, have that blessed by your state lender, just to make sure it's actually something that you should be doing. Again, I'm going to use the term, throw caution to the wind. We don't want to do that. We don't want to just get rid of caution. Before you pay anything off, make sure you vet it with your lender and then get that response and email asking them straight up, especially if they say, sure, no problem, everything's going to be great. Follow it up on an email and say, Jack, just to make sure I understood this correctly, should I, can I, may I, without need to pay off this credit card or get this Sears card? Sears isn't even in business, or whatever it may be. Okay, so we have those 13 put back on the market. 33 properties in escrow, 24 gone pending. So that's over 50-something properties that are currently in the escrow process during Christmas. We have 55 properties that closed this past week. 7 expired, 10 canceled, 13 have been put on hold. None have been withdrawn. Looking at Saugus overall, this is what's going to be what's happening local market. Now, currently, of this, the average list price $925,000, median list $830, average days on market 72, and we're looking at 73 total active listings in Saugus specifically. Median list price there $599, average price per square foot $460. Median days on market 44. We can look at the past transactions. You can find those at santaclaritaopenhouses as well.com, of course. Now, median sales price $727, average list to sales price ratio 101.8, higher than Stevenson Ranch, which was 97% yesterday. I think Valencia was running 100. So at 101.8, that means Saugus listings are actually getting more than the sellers expected when they put their properties on the market, depending, of course, on their pricing strategy. Maybe they went in specifically and priced them a little lower to try to get more money, and that does happen, especially in a market where there are a plentiful amount of real estate buyers jockeying for position, and maybe, and we do see this, school changes happen at this time of year as well. Bigger school changes, of course, happen during the summertime in a traditional year here in Santa Clarita Valley. Looking median days to close, 35 days. So you have 44 days on market median, about 35 days to close. That's very common for most loan programs. FHA and VA sometimes have a difficulty closing in that kind of speed, but we do see lenders that are very nimble, especially in the mortgage broker realm, and I have a couple that are just wonderful at that. They can get these things closed rather quickly, just as fast in some cases as conventional loans, which are those 20% down types. Of course, there's variables in that as well. All right, so looking at FHA loans, those properties listed below $600,000, moderate competition FHA loans seem to be used more than any other. Conventional loans, we're looking at property prices between $600,000 and $900,000. Cash offers, which is interesting, above $1 million, faster closing times. We're seeing that those are cash buyers, at least in Saugus, California, over $1 million. something just to consider when you're writing your offer. Now, we're going to expect in 2025 for Saugus and the rest of the Santa Clarita Valley to experience that gradual stabilization of interest rates. And that's going to just basically pretty much meaning that's going to remain the same through most of the year just because of the economy improving. More than likely, interest rates are probably going to stay pretty much where they are, and we're going to see buyer confidence. Also, the market's going to start to normalize a little bit more. So instead of the days on market timeframes being under 30 and 40, we're probably going to see that increase over next year. While we do see a lot of supply and demand issues still existing, it's starting to clear up in a lot of places. Also, sellers are getting to that critical mass, especially because of the election. They're saying, you know what? Maybe we'll get out of California, especially if they're more on the conservative side, it seems, going to some other state that might be more conservative friendly. Now, it's going to depend. I just love it out here. Yes, I'm conservative. Yes, I voted for Trump. Yes, I get a lot of hate for that because one person had asked and one person didn't like it. And then, of course, I did the video on it and that whole thing. I stand by it, just like you asked me, you know, my Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ. Again, hate me all you want, but at least I'm upfront and honest about the system. Now, continued demand in Santa Clarita neighborhoods due to proximity to Los Angeles and family-friendly amenities. There's a big buyer drive out here. Also, there are competitive pricing models that are probably going to occur next year, probably more competitive than we see now, but that typically happens as we get into the spring and summer months. There's going to be higher competition with buyers and also higher competition amongst real estate sellers because you're going to have your neighbors' properties also on the market at the same time. These are definitely things to consider. And as we get into January, that usually we start to see that uptick in real estate listings. So as of this morning, we're about 475 all in, all residential real estate for sale in all of Santa Clarita Valley combined. We're probably going to see that number jump to 6 or 7 by March, I would guess. Connor McIver, please let me know when you're ready to approach real estate. Don't forget, if you go to SantaClaritaOpenHouses.com, I have my book front and center there. You can buy it off of Amazon. Just lots of tips in that book. In addition, the reason why I wrote it is because so many things happen in escrow process that aren't enough. Buyer investigations, for example. Yes, you're getting home inspection. But what are you looking at the property? Are you looking at the property from actually living in the property? You're going to have to deal with neighbors potentially, especially if you have shared fences, shared walls, and maybe they're in not so great shape. Maybe you have trees from your neighbors moving over on your side of the property, maybe over the fence line. The branches only, but again, these are things to look at. How are you going to deal with those neighbors? So what I always suggest to my buyers, and here's your buyer tip for the day, make sure you go and door knock those neighbors in closest proximity to the residence that you're going to be buying. Of course, for condominiums and townhomes, that should be a no-brainer. But again, if you're not thinking of that, you got to go see who your neighbors are. You got to go meet them. Are you renters? Do you own this property? You know, is it you and kids that love to play at all hours of the night? You know, who's living here? That's good to know. And then on the side of it, if you are buying in a single family residence type of home, you want to see those neighbors that are going to have their property lines up against yours. Then, of course, the ones across the street, if your property's configured in that way. It's just nice to meet them, you know, and take everybody. And I always take my clients with me. We'll go bang on the door. Say, I'm Connor McIver. I'm the real estate agent of these folks. They're going to be buying, Tricia and Todd, they're going to be buying this house. We're actually in escrow. Can you tell us a little bit about the neighborhood? I stop, and then they just, usually if you find the chatty Kathy, you know Kathy's out there. They usually just go crazy and they talk all about the neighborhood. You'll eventually find that person that'll let you know everything, probably more than you really want to know. I'm Connor with Honor. Thank you so much for watching today's show. We'll be back tomorrow for Newhall's update. And thanks for watching. Merry Christmas. God bless. And I hope you and your families are fantastic. And if you've talked to anyone on my end, wish them well. Be well.